Hello guys, here's Charlie Austen for New York Movie Buff, and I'm here to give my remarks on Avengers Endgame. It's finally out, playing in all theaters nationwide, and so hang on there because after the intro, we are going to talk about this amazingly awesome movie. Okay, so let's roll the intro. Before talking about Avengers Endgame, please guys, don't miss the opportunity to subscribe to my channel, to the New York Movie Buff, and also to hit the notification bell and the like button so you can keep up with all the new content that is coming on a weekly basis, okay? And also you can follow me on my Instagram, so my address is going to be up here and you can follow me on there and you can keep up with all the things that I'm doing related to the filmmaking industry, about the entertainment industry, and also about my personal life. Okay guys, so the Russo brothers did it. They really delivered it with Avengers Endgame. Actually, I went to the premiere of the movie and I should have posted this video earlier than today, so it has been like almost 2 days that I have seen it already. But I didn't do it because I think that's something that I have with YouTube like these days. Is that it's kind of it's not a complaint, but it's something that kind of like gets on my nerves, is this need of you know, like you go and watch a movie even if you're not like a official critic of films and that type of stuff. So you go and you watch it and you feel that obligation, you feel that weight on your shoulders that you have to post it and it needs to be out there for everybody to know what you thought of it as soon as possible. And I understand, like, coming from a filmmaking background, in the sense that I have course filmmaker, a BFA in filmmaking, although I didn't finish it. I understand that the whole point of being a critic, like a film critic, is that you have to present like your views on that art piece as soon as possible, so before it's being shown nationwide, people can decide if they're going to the movies to watch it or not. So I understand that about as soon as, like, sooner than later, you know, it's out, so people can make up their own mind about their art piece and to decide if they're going to spend a few bucks on it or not. But I think that there are a few exceptions, and I think that Endgame is one of those exceptions. Like, I really needed like some time like to digest everything that I saw on the big screen, you know, to understand the journey of each one of those characters that we have been following them for the past 11 years. And I felt that if I would just come out of the screening room and right away shoot a video and giving my remarks, I wouldn't allow those remarks to mature. I wouldn't allow myself to mature, like my overall opinion of the art piece to mature to a point where I would be able to deliver a very balanced review of this movie. Because in the end, we are talking about 22 movies. This is the 22nd one in the Marvel cinematic universe. It's bringing to a closure, it's bringing to an end this first phase, this whole amazing encompassing journey that we have been through for these past 11 years. So I think that we need to ponder a lot about what this movie really means to the entire saga, to all the movies, to all the stories that were developed up to this point. And I really wanted to take that time. And finally, after 2.5 days or so, now I think that I'm in that place where I can really see it and I can really talk about the movie when it comes to its aesthetics and to the performances and to the acts of the entire story in this movie, and what the Russo brothers were able to accomplish here, and where they might not have been as much successful when we compare these scarce moments in the movie to its entirety. But let's go there. So let's start to talk about what this movie means for the entire Marvel cinematic universe. We know that it means a lot, but it really did it really accomplish the task of making us to feel that way, and to helping us to understand that this is really the end of something. It's not just a comma, just like one more moment in the chain between this part of the story and the next one. Yes, the Russo brothers were really able to do that here. And what is really impressive is that I really get the feeling that they really rewatched it like all the other 21 movies. So there are many references. They are always referencing past movies and past happenings in this overarching story that has linked all these many superheroes, and it's really nice. So there are clear moments here. And by the way, this is a review with no spoilers, so sorry for telling you that now, but it's no spoilers at all, so you can watch it on your comfy couch with no worries of being spoiled of anything that actually happens in the movie. So going back to my reasoning, so really they rewatch it all the movies, I imagine, or at least the most important ones that would be the relevant ones to really develop this story here in Endgame. And you feel the passion, you feel the commitment of these two directors. You feel that they're really trying to connect all the loose ends and whatever would be fitting to be here, to be featured in this final movie, at least for a while, before Marvel embarks in its next 10 or 11 years. So this is something very good. The first act of the movie really deals with the impacts, the side effects, the consequences of Infinity War, not on a global scale. And what I mean in the sense of we're not really seeing how the governments or the institutions here on Earth are kind of dealing with the aftermath of Infinity War. We just get the sense of it. We just get the scope with a few bird views or aerial shots or that kind of a thing. But overall, the consequences here when it comes to Infinity War, they have more to do with how our beloved characters are dealing with what happened, with the loss, with the hurt, with the void in their heart, and it's amazing. And each one of them, they react in a different way. And I think that what they really nailed here so well is that it's not just an overall or general feeling of loss and of hurt and of behaviorment. The way that each one of these characters are dealing with these feelings are so particular to their characteristic as a person, as a persona, or something that is really linked to their worldview up to that point. So even that is very personalized, and I really like that in the movie. And they really took the time to show us these developments, at least these emotional development. So there's a very slow paced kind of first act. So some fans, or maybe a considerable amount of fans, maybe will not be so much into that, but it will really pay off from the middle of the second act into its third and final act. So you understand why some of those emotional developments were put right at the beginning of the movie, and they took the time so that feelings would grow not only on the characters but also on us as viewers, and then it pays off so well. It is connected so well to some of the things that happen later in the movie. So I really enjoyed that. I really think that it was amazing. So we have a more kind of slow paced first act right at the beginning. And it has to do with the emotions related to the aftermath of Infinity War. And then we also have some characters that they have their arc that is being built throughout the past few movies. And now here, these characters, I think that they reach like the peak, you know, the maximum of their development, as a way of putting it. Like one of them is Hulk, so you are going to love how they resolved, how they come, they come with they come to a full agreement how to portray this character and to give enough time to Hulk, and also like at the same time to Bruce Banner, and none of the two are fighting the other. So I really think that here, I think that they get to the final shape that Hulk needs to have when it comes to be a character, and maybe it will even open a possibility of finally, after so many years, Marvel feeling comfortable with giving Hulk his own solo movie again. So it's really a good point. Another character that is really good, and I think that his arc so powerful, is Thor. So I think that here we had seen a different aspect of Thor with Thor Ragnarok, and here it's even developed further. So I think that people will really like the way that they chose to portray Thor in this movie. And he's also a comic relief. I don't think that I'm giving a spoiler here, because like Thor Ragnarok was already very comic. So I think that they continue in that path, and it really worked so well for the character without like sweeping away or like grooming away the fact that he has lost so much in the past few movies. He's also very hurt. He has many emotional problems to get resolved and to get like sorted out. But I think that it was a really a good, you know, nail on the coffin here. So I'm not going to talk about, because I know that there is a lot of expectation when it comes to our most beloved Avengers of all, Captain America and Tony Stark. I'll leave that for the spoiler reveal, but I think that for most people, you are also gonna enjoy their portrayal in this movie, and where this final story is leading them to. So I think that it's gonna be also very impressive. So we have this first act, and then we have like a second act that is a prep for what's about to come in the final act. And I really enjoy, there is something that at least is new for me, I don't know. But the way that they dealt with something that is so unique to sci-fi, I don't know, to the genre, and how they really broke away, they broke free from some like conventional things that have been established in its specific thing. And once you watch the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. So I really enjoyed that, because for me, at least for me, it brought a kind of a fresh air into the whole thing that has been overly used and reused when it comes to sci-fi movies. So I really enjoyed this breath of fresh air into its medium that most of the times is used as a conduit to move a story forward. And here I think that was really so well applied, so well used, without being overrated, but at the same time that it's breaking some conventional patterns when it comes to the use of this medium. It's not being so much to the point of underrating it, you know what I mean? So there is a balance. They really knew how to use it. So, and there is something when it comes to Marvel movies. Sometimes you watch like the trailers before the movies come out, and the trailers, they feel dense. They feel like they feel like a little bit dark. Like they try to convey to you the emotions that might be playing out in that specific story, in that specific episodic moment in the cinematic universe of Marvel. And then you go to the movie and it's so lighthearted and all of that. So I think that as as far as I can remember as of now, I think the Endgame is the first movie, like in 22 movies, where, like I told you, the first act, they really take the time to let you take in how deep, how profound, how consequential the things that happen in Infinity War were. So it's dark. So you feel the tension, you feel how it really devastated like many people's lives, how it really changed the surface of the planet. And the ramifications of Infinity War might be even deeper than we might expect. So here we really feel that it's dark. The first act is dark. It's very low, it's very bluish, you know, you feel it. Some very amazing performances here, and I really love that. That's something that doesn't happen with other Marvel movies. Like, they sell it, oh, we're gonna have, you know, something that is serious, something that is dark-hearted, and then when you go and actually see it, no, they always crack some jokes here and there to kind of like soft the moment and that kind of a thing. Here it doesn't happen. And when I say that, I'm not saying that there are no jokes in the movie. We have jokes in the movie, but they're not as much as to the point of diluting, you know, that tension in the air, that space filled with sadness and sorrow and maybe regret because they failed, you know, like half of the universe was wiped out all at once with just a snap. So I really enjoyed that. They really took the risk, and they said, no, this time people, like the people watching, have to feel that this is real. This had a real impact on Earth and in the entire universe, and you need to show it. We need to let it be shown through the actions and the feelings and the conversations that our heroes are having between one another. So I really love that. And as some of my final remarks, okay, I have a problem here, and I'm going to comment on it on my spoiler reveal. That is, they repeated something here that they have done in Avengers Infinity War, and where they provided like a backstory to some characters. So then once that thing would happen, we would kind of better understand why that played out in the way that it was shown to us. And they kind of and I don't know if it really worked, because my complaint here is that maybe in a movie, even if it's a 3 hour and 2 minutes kind of a movie, you present something so deep that might have been built throughout such a long time, but it's kind of condensed, you know, because of course you have to imply the passing of time. And then just because you need to make it more believable, more credible, like just because you need to bring it across as something that the audience can understand, oh yes, they had that connection runs deep and so forth. It really didn't work for me here as much as it didn't work for me with Infinity War. But I'll talk more about that on my spoiler reveal. So it really bothered me. I think that it bothered me because I know that it was built with the idea, with the goal of producing an emotional report, like an emotional reaction from the audience, because we are engaged with these characters for such a long time by now. But it didn't produce that kind of effect in me. Maybe because I'm too much into movies, so I understand the kind of triggers that can be used, you know, the kind of things that you can introduce in your story to provoke, to kind of ask some kind of response from the audience. And for me, it kind of turns me off. So that's a bit of a complaint. So I'm not saying that it's a perfect movie. They are like this kind of a thing that I don't know why they thought they really worked in Infinity War, and that's why they repeated here. Anyway, I think, yeah, the resemblance I think that was genius to bring this resemblance back. Like, it's a same setting, and okay, I think that that's good. So that's not my complaint about the repeating of some action, but under new circumstances. But my complaint is more when it comes like the road down to that point. You know, how they construed the motivations of the characters, or the kind of relationship that they had up to that point, to make it all more believable and reasonable and so forth. So I don't know, maybe I'll be rewatching it this Saturday, and then I might change my opinion upon like re-seeing this specific chunk of the movie. But it really didn't do the trick for me, so I don't know, it's a bit depressing. So the first act of the movie is depressing. The second act of the movie, I don't know, is the transition part. So, but the third act, things that we were waiting for such a long time, that we wanted to see on the big screen, are finally there. Is really a kind of a fun service type of movie, and you are going to love it. Performances, Robert Downey Jr. here, oh my goodness. Scarlett Johansson, I'm speechless. She does such a great work. And there is also Brie Larson. I never know how to say her name. This was like terrible. So we have her again playing once more Captain Marvel. And I don't know. They are like portraying her since her solo movie as this robust, you know, kind of rough type of character, not very smiley, not very charismatic. I don't know. I think that they will have to pull some strings and to reshape this character for the future, because the person, you know, carrying the whole Marvel universe, like cinematic universe up to this point, was Robert Downey Jr. And although he was very arrogant and full of himself and a show off and this kind of a thing, he really brought to Iron Man that charismatic thing at the same time. And I don't see that with Captain Marvel in the way that she's being portrayed by Larson so far. So I don't know if she's the one that she's gonna be the lead in the second decade of Marvel in the theaters. I think that they might have to pull like a few strings and to reshape a feel of, I don't know, her motivations or the way that she's being sold out to the public, because it's not enticing, at least for me. I'm not saying that she's not a badass. I think that she is a badass, but I think that something more is needed so that she can have that link, she can have that bridge, that connection with the main public, okay, with the public in general. So I don't know. Let's see how it goes. And overall, guys, the movie took like unexpected turns, ups and downs, twists that I was not expecting at all. It was amazing. It's really a cinematic event. Like, it's the golden age of superheroes. It's almost 20 years since the first X-Men. They really officially, I'd say, introduced the cinematic form, like the cinema to the age of superheroes. And now we have got to the climax of it all. Like here they really perfected the formula of how to do a badass superhero movie. So there's so many gains from here, so many grabs, and I'm so happy that this movie's out there. We started the year, actually it was last year, but anyway, there are some places that this movie started like showing out this year. So with Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, in the Spider Universe, and that was already, oh my goodness, I cried so much because that thing is so beautiful. And now we have Endgame, and it's all the good stuff. It's cheesy, it's romantic, it's lovely, it's very comedic, it's very comic driven at certain points, and filmmaking wise, it's something for the eyes to behold. So I was flabbergasted, I was dumbfounded at a certain point. I was like, oh, that was my reaction. And this was my review to my spoiler-free reveal to Endgame. So congrats, Marvel. And when I was in the movies, and like the room was packed, like full of people, and there are so many people, like they were screaming, they were shouting, and they were clapping, and there were like 3 or 4 times throughout the movie that like we just gave a round of applause, like such an ovation, like things that we were waiting so much, and that thing is delivered, that expectation is met, and you're just like, it's unbelievable. So it has been so many years since the last time that I went to the movies, and that general response from everybody in the same room, in that dark room, was the same and was so authentic and genuine. So I really loved that, and I'm just so happy that I was part of that. And yes, and I'm happy. So just wait for my spoiler review of Endgame. It might take a few more days, I don't know. I might well record it right afterwards this one, but for me to publish it might take a while more. But anyway, if you like this review, please reach the notification bell, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I have many more contents coming down the line, and I'm Charlie Austen for New York Movie Buff. Thanks for watching.